There were explosive text messages and tears in the Agatha Christie trial today. Rebekah Vardy was giving evidence on day 2 of her libel case against Coleen Rooney. Rebekah's suing Coleen after being accused of leaking false stories, but she denies being the source of stories about the Rooneys. But Rebekah conceded she did direct her former agent to look at Coleen's private Instagram account for information about a car crash. She also admitted she did try to leak a story about footballer Danny Drinkwater's arrest for drink driving. Things got even more dramatic when Vardy was asked about text messages with her former agent Caroline Watt. Jeremy, what did the text messages say?
Are we on the right show?
Yes. This is the only place. Come on, yeah. Perfect show to be on to talk about this stuff.
Now, one exchange was about an alleged affair between an unnamed female celebrity and a footballer. The court heard that Rebekah sent text saying, have you seen how badly she's behaving? I'm disgusted by her. Leak the story about her shagging behind his back. When asked about the messages today, Vardy tearily said, I'm just joking. So, the big question is sharing gossip and joking the same as leaking stories on purpose. All I would say, team, is it's not a great look for her, is it? I mean, I've said my bit about the overall thing. You know, we're in the middle of this horrific cost of living crisis, and these two are spending millions on arguing whatever is right and whatever's wrong. But not a great look for Rebekah Vardy today.
And also, everybody knows you can't be ironic in a text message, can you? No. You know, if you're going to say it and type it, and you're going to say leak something, and, you know, that's what you're saying. It's a very forthright instruction. And also, you know, where is the joke in it? It's not funny, is it? I can't see the punchline of a joke there at all.
No, and you sort of wonder, don't you, Julia, where is this going to end? We've got rid of the agent, we've blamed the PR company.
We blame the North Sea, with the phone that was suddenly swallowed up by the North Sea. I mean, come on, it's happened to all of us, hasn't it?
No.
The thing about this, we don't know who the wrong party is. That's why there's a libel trial. That's why £3 million, count them, have been spent so far on the lawyers. I mean, the lawyers, you watch them going into court, they are beaming away. They're having the greatest time, thinking, I wonder what new car I'll buy tomorrow. But we don't know who's wrong. But it seems to me they're all as bad as each other. But these women, we wouldn't know who they were if it wasn't for who their famous husbands were and what they do. And the only reason they're famous is because of the stories that are in the newspapers. Of course, they're all feeding stories to the newspapers all the time about each other.
Listen, I think Rooney's, the Rooneys specifically, they've been together since they were 15 years old. So technically, in my opinion, Coleen is as much a reason for Wayne's success as he is. His skills.
Good girl, by the way.
Yeah, lovely girl.
She doesn't kick a football.
No, but she's giving him support at home.
She's had 4 sons.
Well,
yeah,
he's had a lot of support as well. Anyway, continue.
Thanks. And from what I've seen of the trial so far, I don't think they're as bad as each other. I think Coleen is coming out of this looking really good, and Miss Vardy is the one who's coming across looking like a mean.
But that's partly because Coleen hasn't been cross-examined yet, and that we're only seeing Rebekah on the rack here. But the thing that's astounding, I think, is that she's taken legal advice and been advised to have these deeply malicious and malevolent text messages exposed in court in that way. I mean, she didn't have to go to court. It seems to me extraordinary. I mean, she used, you know, the C word to describe Coleen. She seems to be full of bile and nastiness. There's one nasty instruction, you know, I want paying for this. Another one where she says, I don't need the money anyway. What do I need money for? She's obviously obsessed by money. So far, I'm astounded that she put herself in that position.
Who among us, our private WhatsApp messages, would actually pass muster in?
Mine are honestly, I don't think I'd ever be able to show my face in public again. But I do think, you know, just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you should have to sanitize what you text to other people. However, saying the word leak to your agent is a pretty, you know, damning thing to say.
It's interesting what you said about she's the only one that's been cross-examined. Yeah. What I keep thinking is that one of these two presumably either knows they're lying or is hoping that it doesn't come out.
Yes.
And as Julia said, that's £3 million. How much more? Listen, she also broke down in tears in the courtroom, Rebekah, and I know what people are going to say. She told her trolls abused her and even threatened to harm her baby daughter. That's awful. After Coleen accused her of leaking stories. So, Julia, do we have sympathy or do we say, well, you're in the game.
Yeah.
You've come up with all of this. You've been sending disgusting messages. You've had a bit back, love. Deal with it.
I mean, there is an element of that. She was heavily pregnant, wasn't she, when this all came out? And you know, you would have expected this to have been something you'd say, you know, over lunch. You'd say, you know, you'd confront someone privately rather than exposing it. And it's the abuse that people get on social media, whether she did it or not. Even if she did do it, you don't deserve to be abused, and the nastiness that we do see on social media. As I said, I think they're probably all as bad as each other. I think they've probably all done a lot of what they should have done, a lot they shouldn't have done.
I don't know if that's fair to say. What makes you say that? If she's the leak, if she turns out to be the source
But
of
so
the
many stories about
information,
celebrities end up
why
in
would you say that Coleen Rooney, just because she's married to a footballer, is as bad? Why? She
because
probably isn't. Why would she go to such lengths to try to unveil this?
We only know who Coleen Rooney is. She only makes the money she makes.
It doesn't make her somebody that peddles stories about other people, does it?
No,
It's quite calm. But do you not find it entertaining at the very least? This is what Real Housewives should be. It's like the really Real Housewives.
That's
Oh,
bad.
but it's so...
Well, I'm a friend of Peter Andre, and I don't find that
Honestly, we're all skint. We're all
Can
in
I
the
just
cost of
say,
living
I'm one of the
crisis.
best friends of Peter Andre, and that is ludicrous, and quite why he's not shut that down. He's brave enough to laugh it off.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of people being dragged in here. And you say something that, fine, but it really concerns me. It was like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We've become this voyeuristic bunch of people who get some satisfaction. And this court case, right, wouldn't have anything if none of us were interested, right?
Yeah.
And we're sat here talking about it. I am absolutely with you, by the way. There's something about Vardy. I know we don't know the truth yet, but there's something frozen. I don't know what it is.
And also, she's had to already say several times, yes, I know it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Yes, I realise it doesn't seem good. You know, yes, I did say this, but I didn't really mean it.
Maybe.
I said that, I was only joking. You know, and a great deal of kind of evidence in court is pertaining to somebody's demeanour and behaviour. Now, if somebody has a legacy and a history of peddling stories about other people that other people wouldn't want them to sell or tell, then that's the way in which this person conducts themselves. That's why I'm astounded that she's there at all and wasn't advised to just shut up and run.
Well, maybe
the
she wants
hills.
to exonerate herself because she doesn't really think she's guilty of anything. This is the thing. She wants to get a chance to defend herself.
The lawyers must think, OK, I'm guessing they're not on a no-win, no-fee on either side, in which case they're going to get paid whether they win or lose. But the lawyers have reputations as well. They want to win cases like this.
Well,
She must think she's got a case.
That's really interesting, because if you think about what you've just said, because you talked about the money and you're dead right, that's one thing I've never understood. Lawyers are supposed to... Would you take a case knowing that your client was absolutely lying if you were making £1 million in fees? So many of them would. I bet there are lawyers in that court who know they've absolutely got no case and they're probably going to lose, but they're still going to get that. Do you know what I mean?
The judge counselled them both to just completely go home and forget the whole thing.